What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Zed Talks. Zora here. So glad to have you. I think I'm just going to hold the mic like this from here on out because I don't think you get like a good feedback when I put it on a shirt or whatever. But guess what? Summer 2023 is here. It is live. It is happening. It is going on. So excited for that. And we're starting off this summer with chill. We're starting off this summer chill. That's the vibe of this video. It is 1:30 in the morning, but I had to get a video in, and we just gonna keep it real. So that's what we're doing. Like the title says, in episode 5, we're talking about love languages. How I came about this, I just came back home from the semester ending like last week, and my dad and I went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's our little tradition. Like we go see every Marvel movie together. The one time we didn't go see a Marvel movie together, I regretted it. So that's our tradition until one of us drops dead. Um, but I never noticed his love languages until we went to the movies, and I didn't notice his love languages, and I didn't know how they change and differ depending on the family member. So like my sister's language, how he loves my sister is different, how he loves me is different, how he loves my mom is different. So as I was sitting and processing, trying to figure out the different ways he loves us, I just thought about it and I was like, that's actually so cool. So that's what we're talking about today in episode 4. Did I say episode 5 before? This is episode 4. In episode 4, um, we're just going to chat about love languages. I think this is actually so cool. So for those of you who don't know what love languages are, there are 5 of them. They're physical touch, gifts, acts of service, quality time, and words of affirmation. Um, and basically, your love language is how you like to be loved, how you would like for someone to love you. My love languages, actually, I already knew them. I just had to confirm what they are. So I just took the test a couple minutes ago just to confirm, but I already knew what they are. So giving you all the breakdown of like percentage wise. So quality time is at 40%, but truly I feel like quality time can overlap with any of the love languages except for gifts. Except for gifts. So that's pretty cool. I feel like I can get my bang for my buck out of any of the love languages except for gifts. So yeah, quality time at 40%. I think this really was just because the idea of time and the importance of time and emphasizing the importance of time is very important to me. So I think that's why I like quality time so much, because if someone takes time out of their day to hang out with me, it literally can't get any better with that than that. And they're invested in our time together. Um, my dream date in high school, I remember one of my friends asked me, and I was like, yeah, my dream date is just to have a study date at my house or my boyfriend's house, and that would be my dream date. And she looked at me like I was crazy. It has changed since then. I want to preface that. It has changed since then. But just emphasizing, like, I've always been a quality time person. And even with it being, like, even with the new date changing, it's still rooted in quality time. So I thought that was cool to take note of, but it has changed. Does not involve studying. um, but I bring this up because my dad recognizes this, and like we'll hang out, we'll go watch the movies together. Like I remember my freshman year of college, he literally was like, let's go to get seafood," and we got seafood. So we'll just have these like moments throughout the year that we'll just go and hang out and just talk and chat and catch up about stuff, even though I live with him. But it's really cute. Um, and then when I look at that compared to my sister's gifts, like that's how he shows his love for her. He'll be like, "Hey, do you want something?" Or "Here's some money to get something," and he will get her that. Um, very. My sister and I are like light and day, totally different because I hate gifts. Um, I will say there are times when this does get me in trouble though, especially like when dating people. I will find myself wanting to do quality time a little too much depending on where I am in the relationship. And that kind of gets me. Um, Not getting too much into that, but I have to be careful. I'm learning that I really have to be careful with how much time I give to people depending on what my relationship is with them at certain points. So yeah. Next up is words of affirmation at 23%. Let me just say, I already knew this was number two. I was actually pretty surprised with how low this percentage was. I knew this pretty early on. My mom, she writes me letters all the time, just reassuring me. And I keep every single one. I keep every single one. And, when I'm down, I just reread them. So let's start doing that. Like, let's bring that back. I think we should bring back love letters. So from here on out, why did that sound so country? From here on out, no more paragraphs. I I'm no longer accepting paragraphs as a form of expression. Write me a love letter. Take some time out of your day. This is what I mean by overlapping. Love languages overlapping. Take some time out of your day to sit down, write out how you feel about me, get an envelope, fold the paper back up, get a stamp, and put it in your mailbox and send it to me. And then wait for me to get it. That's just so cute. Oh, oh my gosh. Like, come on, guys. Let's bring that back. I really think we should. Um, so yeah, that's how I knew that words of affirmations was number two. And then sometimes I truly just need a reminder. There are definitely points throughout the year where I forget who I am and what I am. So having someone else reinforce that is really just, it does me really well. Physical touch is at 17%. This really depends on the person though. Because sometimes my physical touch, it activates later on. It activates later on. It won't activate from the jump because I'm hesitant about it and, very on edge about certain people and touching people because I truly believe transfer of energy is real. Um, but it definitely depends on the person in the dynamic we have. And then acts of service is 17%. It's tied with physical touch, which I was actually surprised about. And then gifts is 3%. I just don't like, I don't know. I feel like people, my personal opinion, like a gift is like a, hey, hush up. I did this for you. Let it go. Like, it doesn't really take much time for a gift, my personal opinion. So, and while I was breaking all this down, I realized that there's a difference between how I like to be loved and how I love. And I used to confuse that all the time between the love languages. Um, how I show my love, despite, even though I hate gifts, I show my love through gifts, which is so weird. Um, but there's a reason. There's a reason for this. Like, I am not someone who likes to verbalize. I don't like to verbalize my feelings. I think it's so weird. I think it's so embarrassing. I'm like, oh, I sound so mushy. I'd much rather write down how I feel and then give somebody, give them a gift. And then that gift will have like a card or like a letter, and then that will be it. But I'm starting to realize that that's because it's comfortable for me. And I'm starting to realize that I have to change the way I show my love for people, depending on who the person is. Like I have to adapt it, you know, cater it to that person. Just like I want them to love me in my love languages, I should love somebody in their love languages. Um, like it's just the possibility that maybe gifts is someone's love language. And, my way of showing love is gifts. Perfect. But there's any instance I've been like not any situation, but there's been times where I'll give a gift and that might not be their their first love language. And they might appreciate it, but they'd prefer if I did something else, which I can't be mad about. So, yeah. And while I was, I was like, okay, Zora, you're going to have to switch it up depending on the person. I was thinking, like, what happens if I end up or I'm associated with someone whose love language, who I'm not comfortable with loving them in their love language, right? Let me explain this. Um, Physical touch. I'm not a toucher. I'm not a toucher. My sister is a toucher. She loves to touch. She loves to hug and whatnot. And my sister and I didn't really get close until 2020, until COVID. So there are times when Layla just wants to hug and just, it's not as much as used to. But and for a while, like I was very uncomfortable with it, but I had to gradually get used to it. And now it's like, every she knows my limits. She'd be like, okay, you might be doing too much. But I just realized that that's just me in general with physical touch. Like even in romantic relationships, like starting from the jump, I'm like very anti don't touch me. Don't touch me. We can hold a pinky. Don't touch me. But this does change later on. So I've never been in a position where I've just straight up haven't been able to love somebody in their love language. Um, or I've been incompatible with their love language. It's been a gradual change. It hasn't been a drastic change. Like one day I'm just like, oh, I want to touch you. It's been like, okay, let me touch you this little bit today. Let me touch you this little bit today. And then it builds up, builds up, builds up. Um, Now there are instances in which people just haven't been able to figure that out. And so I think that's when you have to ask yourself, like you have to give yourself an ultimatum. Um, like I said, the people who they haven't been able to figure out, you have to give yourself an ultimatum like, is this person worth being uncomfortable for? That's a big question to ask because this might be something that like a early on stage in a friendship, relationship or not. Like, is this worth the risk? Is this person worth doing this for? And I think once you find the answer to that question, it kind of answers if it kind of it does the math for you. Um, but it's definitely something that you have to talk about. And that's why now I'm going to ask people what their love languages are on the first couple of dates because I need to know. I need to know. Help me. Help me help you. Help us get a head start. Um I yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I've never been with someone where I think our love languages are incompatible. Have I been in a situation where their love language wasn't my top 3 love languages? Absolutely. But I figured it out. And it's weird because after a while, I really start to like physical touch. Um, and it's weird because like after a while, like I said, I'll really start to like physical touch. And then anytime I'm like, oh, I want to touch this person. Not in a weird way. Like, oh, I want to hug this person. They're looking at me like, you want to give me a hug? Has hell frozen over? Like it's that type of reaction that I'll get. And it's so weird because I have to explain myself like, no, I'm just comfortable with you now. Or I'm more comfortable with you and I want to, you know, share more of me with you. Um, but yeah, I definitely think there's a lot to break down with love languages, and I would have loved if I could get like a professional in here to if they could break that down a little bit more. Because I definitely think the ranking of my love languages definitely ties into some of my fears. Like I said, I am terrified of verbalizing. I actually do not like confrontation. For those who refuse or who find it hard to believe, I don't like confrontation at all. Um, but that does not mean I can't communicate effectively. It's just not my I just don't like confronting people because what are we doing this for? Now, no. Like I said, I don't like to verbalize my feelings. Rather just write everything out, you read it, you come back to me, say how you feel, and then I don't know. It doesn't seem efficient, but it's whatever. Um but yeah, it shed light on that. And then the physical touch side, just some little insecurities are rooted in there. But like I said, I'd love to get some more expertise, knowledge behind that, and see like what you can do. I think the one that I'm most curious about is to see if if like incompatible love languages exist. And like, I know there's some couples out there who have incompatible love languages that are still together and they probably have been together for a long time. So just trying to figure out the science behind that, if there is any, would be really cool. But I don't want to spend too much time on this. I just thought it was a really cool topic because of, me and my daddy and daughter date. Like I was like, oh, this is so cute when I realized his love languages. And it made it like, I feel like I got closer to him because I knew him a little bit more, which is weird because, I feel like I know my dad pretty well, but even at 21, I'm still learning new things about him. It's just odd, but I'd highly recommend everyone take the love languages quiz. I literally just put love languages quiz in the internet and it was the first one that popped up. I would recommend you take it. Those who you love take it. Just so you all can get, a better understanding of each other, figure out, maybe you learn something new from each other. Maybe you have a reason or an explanation as to why they are a certain way about certain things. And then maybe that's like an area of talking that you can talk about. I think it's really important that everyone knows each other's love languages because, I think that just solves a lot of the problems that we might have with people because they want to be treated one way and they aren't being treated that way, so they don't feel seen. So I definitely think that that is something that everybody should look into because it's free and it's on the internet. And why wouldn't you want to do it if you want to make everyone feel appreciated and loved? Everyone deserves to be loved. So love them the right way. There is a right way to love somebody. Um, but yeah, that was basically it. Don't want to hold y'all too much on this. Before we go, I wanted to let y'all know about an update regarding the podcast. So I don't know when this is going to start, but I did want to just give you all a heads up. In the future, there will be a new IG Live series. If you've already seen it on the Instagram page, good thing for you. Good job. It's going to be the Let's Talk. It's going to be Let's Talk, and it's going to be an IG Live series. Basically, it's just going to be a area in which we could just casually talk about some topics instead of this being a formal setting like the episodes are. Just get on live sometimes, maybe do a pre-recorded one and just talk about what's going on. If you didn't notice, I took down the episode list that I had prior to the season 1 opening episode because it just felt very restrictive. Like in the moment I was like, oh, this is so good, so people know what to expect. But I was getting so many ideas, like this one, like love languages. I was like, they're just the bigger person one. These ideas just hit me randomly and I'm like, oh, this would be so good to talk about. So I'd like to do that a little bit more on live, while still sticking to my biweekly schedule. So I said I wasn't going to spend that much information on it. So expect that soon. I don't know how soon, but it is coming, and I just wanted to let y'all know. That is up for me. Is almost 2 o'clock in the morning, and I have to be up for graduation at 7 o'clock. So I hope y'all are doing well. I hope y'all are being safe. I hope y'all enjoy your summer. If you've already started your summer, have a great time. If you haven't started your summer yet, hang in there. It's almost there. And I hope y'all enjoy, and I will see you all in episode 5.